Today, we talk about people that constantly mess up, be it on their job or life. These people had one job and failed. You have one job, and that's to listen to this show. So don't let us down, please. Let's go. Today we were talking about lazy people. Not necessarily lazy people, I guess, but more, how do I put it? Incompetent people, I guess, would be a great
nice
way
word
to do this. Yeah. There are certain jobs that actually take a lot of skill and a lot of effort to do. I mean, now granted, all jobs take effort. All jobs take a bit of skill. Some a little bit more than others. There are jobs that are not for the weak of heart and often can be pretty dangerous if you don't do them right. We're not talking about those jobs. We are talking about the ones that no matter what the skill level, no matter what the effort that's put into it, they just they're not done properly.
Yeah.
Some people are just untrainable.
Some people are very untrainable. And we are not going to go out of our way and attack people.
Sure. Not directly, anyway.
Not directly.
Sure, we're not.
Not directly. But no, we are going to get into this where there seems to be an epidemic of incompetence.
Like it's spreading.
It really is, though. That's the thing, is it spreads. Incompetence, not incontinence, because that's a whole different subject.
Let's hope there's never that kind of epidemic.
Oof, that would
There
be bad.
kind of is, though. Don't look at American birth rates. It's fine.
Yeah, no, we're not going to talk about that.
That's why I said don't look at it.
It does remind me of the South Park episode. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
No.
Okay.
The one with the recorders?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they hit the brown note.
Uh-oh.
So, okay. Quick tangent, rabbit hole.
South Park Brown Note
You've
rabbit
listened,
hole?
Yes.
Yeah.
You've listened to our episode or to our show long enough. You know these are coming. So there is an episode where the kids from South Park get invited to go do a national anthem
Oh, no.
playing. Okay, and all of these like kids from all over the United States are coming to Washington D.C. To play recorders. They're going to play the national anthem on the recorder. One of the kids finds what's called the brown note. For those who don't know, this is an actual thing. It's an actual scientific thing that there is a note that is played at such a low frequency that will make you relieve yourself uncontrollably if played for too long.
Wait, this is real?
This is a real thing.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Yes.
I think it's actually been debunked, but
I don't care. I believe in it now.
No, it is true. And the only reason why I know this part is because I actually looked up the whole scientific base off of it. The first and only real person that actually put it into their music was Marilyn Manson. He made a song that it has about a 10-second note, and they refused to release it on any of his CDs, refused to release it on any of his stuff because of said note. They did a study on it, and the entire crowd basically pooped themselves.
I have to listen to this song. I gotta
I'm
know.
sure
I
you could
gotta
find
know.
it. I'm sure you can find it. I'm not going to go out there. I don't listen to Marilyn Manson just for the sake of it. I want to point that out. I don't listen to him.
Me neither. But
I only know it because of I looked this up.
so I'm not super internet savvy, but I take pride in how much I can pirate
You could
and how
probably-
efficient I am at doing so.
you could most likely find it.
Yeah, exactly. So
Anyway, going on
to incompetency.
Yes. Well, I got to finish my South Park.
Oh,
thing
sorry.
reference
South
first.
Park. Okay.
So one of the kids finds it. And of course, they play it because they're messing around with it, and Kenny ends up like pooping himself or whatever. And so they get to the place where they're doing the national anthem, and one other school is like a rival with these kids. Like they make fun of them, they pull tricks on them all the time. So the kids from South Park are going to get this other school back, and so they take their sheet music and they write the brown note at the very last note. Like this was only going to be for that school, so that way when that happened, it would only happen for that school. The director ends up finding the paperwork and switches everybody's music.
Oh no.
So this is played on national television, actually like world television, I think. And so you hear the national anthem, and this is so gross, but you hear the national anthem, you hear the very last note, the land of the free, home of the brave, and it drops the note, and it pans out to a world, and all you see is just brown.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
That was a great episode.
It actually was
That's
a great
hilarious.
episode. It had a lot of other references into it that we're not going to get on with this show. But yes. So anyway, now that we're away from that rabbit hole,
incompetence, not incontinence.
Yes. No, but now I got to try to come back from that. I'm sorry.
You got poop on the brain?
Yeah, I got poop on the brain.
Yeah, you got poop brain.
Yes. Because one of the funniest parts is there's like a news report on it, and the newscast is like, millions from around the world have pooped themselves. Some have even pooped themselves to death. And Kenny's laying on his side.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, I don't watch South Park either, but
I do.
I know
no, clearly you've never seen it.
I know that episode.
I know quite a bit of South Park.
I love South Park.
I never really liked South Park. I don't even remember why I watched that episode, but that was like the one episode that I actually liked.
The thing I appreciate about South Park is nobody is safe.
Very true.
They are political. They are more left than I am.
Yes.
But they attack left and right.
Oh yeah.
And all religions, and atheists, no one's safe.
Yeah.
Like they have a really good, I'll keep this brief. They have a really good joke about some families are like, well, we're a strict this family, right? You're trying to pass down your religion to your children. So like, we're a strict Catholic family, we're a strict Baptist family, right? Well, they
the
do
one with the agnostics.
Yeah. They're like, we are a strictly agnostic family, Stanley. And they adopted Stan for some reason. And he opens their fridge and it's just Dr. Pepper. And he's like, why is it just Dr. Pepper? He's like, Dr. Pepper is the most agnostic drink there is. Because nobody knows what it is. And then he asks his son, he's like, whatever his kid's name is, he's like, Billy, what do you believe? And his kid's like, I don't know if there's a God or not. And he's like, good.
Gosh.
But yeah, I love South Park.
Well, speaking of nobody's safe, there we go.
Yeah, there you go.
That's our trip into this. Nobody's safe. We are not going to hold back when it comes to the incompetence epidemic, because it's out there, and quite frankly, it is dangerous. I know, and getting into the show, I know of multiple times where we've run into people that are just so far out there. Like I don't want to call them names or anything like that, but they're so far out there, or they're so incompetent to what they're doing that they have actually put people at risk.
Yes.
I don't know if Dave's going to bring this one up or not, but if not, I'm going to steal the story a little
Which
bit.
one?
Well,
I've got a few.
Well, a lot of the stories we're going to go over are people putting other people's health in danger.
Yep.
Not all the stories I have, but a lot of them are putting people's health in danger. Mm-hmm. So if you want to kick it off with this, and then we can go back and forth.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that.
Fine.
So you kick it off with this.
Because it kind of starts my first point of, what is the incompetence epidemic? Like, what exactly is that? Because, everybody knows, what this means, but kind of like how far it it stems and how drastic it is. Because the one thing that I can think of is our old employer had just fixed our ramp for trucks coming in.
Mhm.
We have semis that come in a lot. A lot of big equipment, stuff like that. And a lot of the truck drivers that we get, one, can't speak English at all. That's not saying anything bad about them, but they can't speak English, so they can't understand English. They can't drive a truck. Like, I honestly believe that most of them got their driver's license by somebody else taking their test, because they pull in and then they get so lost and so confused when it comes to backing up, when it comes to driving. This particular person, we had just fixed our ramp, had just got it working really, really nice. Guy comes in, Dave lowers the ramp down onto the truck. Everything's fine. Unloads the truck. Dave is trying to tell the guy, don't move until I raise the ramp back up. Before Dave can do anything, the guy just takes off, drops the ramp, which actually destroys it because it's unmovable now.
At which point, when you realize something like that is happening, you just walk backward. You back away. Get as far away from that thing because you don't know how dangerous it's about to be.
Right. And Dave almost got squished because the ramp came down fast. I mean, it was not a good day.
Holy crap.
And when Dave's like sitting there yelling at the guy, trying to get him to stop, trying to get him to slow down and stuff like that, and the guy just takes off. The crazy thing about it is the guy had some, I think he still had some stuff in the back of his truck. Doors are wide open. Just takes off down the road. Doors are wide open. There was no stopping this guy at all. And it's those types of people that we are going to talk about.
Yeah.
Because that is something that where you literally put somebody's life at risk because you're stupid.
You're operating a very large and dangerous piece of machinery.
Correct.
Maybe this is a dumb thing to think about, but how dumb do you have to be to just be in the middle of a task that's very simple and just be like, I'm done, and just leave? Like, what are you thinking? When you're in a truck, you have to be careful.
Right. Yeah. Especially the bigger trucks. Because I mean, I see videos all the time on TikTok. I scroll through TikTok quite a bit because I'm bored at some point. So I'll scroll through TikTok and I see videos all the time of like drivers. And how there are some where the truck drivers are getting cut off because, people in cars don't know how to drive. And then there's some where you watch the way that some of these truck drivers drive and you're like, how did you even get your license? Like,
I ask that question all the time to myself. Like, how did this person get, what is it, a CDL these days?
Yeah.
Was it a Cracker Jack box?
Right. And that's the thing about it is the CDL should actually be harder to get than...
Yeah, it should actually mean this person is capable of operating this thing that could kill somebody when operated incorrectly.
Right. And most of them can't. Like, most of them just can't. They don't know how to do it right.
Yeah.
There was a guy that the guy tried to get me fired, but obviously it didn't work. Because I wouldn't back his truck up for him. I don't have a CDL.
Yeah, it's not my job to do your job for you.
Right. I've never driven a semi truck, so I have no idea how to drive one. So yeah, the guy yelled at me and then went in and tried to get this is our former boss again, tried to get him to fire me because I wouldn't help him out. And when I told our boss what he was expecting me to do, then, I think I don't even think he got his load delivered. I want to say that our boss basically just kicked him off the premises.
Sounds right.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
That's not even my only truck driver story. There was another guy who went to pull away. He had a swing door trailer. Went to pull away, and one of the doors scraped against the fence, and he knocked the door off. That was a different guy.
I think I remember saying that one too.
Yeah. That was the same guy that he didn't understand what I was telling him when it came to the ramp, because he like backed the trailer up to the tip of the ramp. Like the lip of the ramp is supposed to go inside the trailer.
Right.
And he backed it up to the tip of the ramp. He's like, can't you unload it that way? I'm like, no. Does that look safe to you?
Yeah.
Like, how do you not understand this concept?
Yeah.
And then, there's always just these truck drivers just drive me nuts. Let's talk about something else.
Well,
'cause there's more.
This is a little bit of a self-report. I don't know. I think you saw it. I think you were there and just like walked away. But you might have not been. It might have been Dave. Somebody saw it. But I was driving a piece of customer equipment. You remember this?
If it's what I'm thinking
I
of.
slammed it into our fence.
Okay. Yep. The funny thing about it is we were just talking about this before we left work today.
And I had been working there for almost that was like 2 months before I left. There's no reason. Like there was no reason for me to. I don't know why I did it. I think it was an accident. I don't think I did it on purpose.
Well, I would hope you wouldn't.
But I remember like I don't think I hit it head on. I think I brushed it. But I think I brushed it a lot. So I was just kind of like into the fence.
Oh goodness.
And Jonathan was just like, really? And like walked away.
Yeah, I do remember that one.
But yeah.
So, but it leads me to ask the question, and I want your guys' opinion on this of, what is the incompetence epidemic? Like what, we can go back and forth. I mean, we can do an entire show just on stories alone of different people, and we are going to get into more of them.
Yeah.
But it's like kind of talking about this whole thing of, how bad is it? Like, because depending on the job that you go to, like I said in the intro, there are some jobs that take a lot of skill. Mm-hmm. Like I will never be able to work at a refinery. I don't think I could work in a machine shop because it's just something that I'm not skilled in doing. I'm skilled in my job.
Sure.
There have been many times where I have messed up, and it's like I'll own up to those mistakes, obviously. I say obviously. But then there are those that will straight up do something so stupid and then just be like, it wasn't my fault. And it's just like, it leads me to think of, is this actual ignorance in the job? Or is this a lack of caring? What do you guys think?
Yeah, so I think not caring spreads quite easily. And there have been times where I've been like, oh, they don't care. Why should I care? And I've cared less. I've never not cared at all, but I have definitely cared less as time goes on in certain jobs. But there's some people who are just, let's face it, not that bright. And so they're incompetent because they're stupid. And then the other people who are they become incompetent because how little they care. They see somebody getting away with incompetency, and so they copy it. And that's connected to laziness, but I don't think it's exactly the same.
I was gonna say that doesn't really necessarily call for incompetence. It's more of like a lack of apathy, or it is apathy.
Yeah, but incompetence comes from not caring unless you're just dumb and unteachable. If you're dumb and unteachable, you shouldn't have that job. Like, what is it? I don't like a lot of what he says, but Jordan Peterson has this thing where he talks about a study that the Army did. And they were like, 10% of the U.S. population couldn't even be a janitor in the Army because they don't have the IQ for it.
Right.
So it's like, that's a scary statistic.
And I do know we have touched on this a few different times in different episodes.
Yeah.
I think we have more or less kind of confounded or compounded. See, I have one job and I can't even do that right now.
That's okay.
We have compounded basically all of our thoughts and ideas on this subject into this episode. Sure. Because, like I said, we've alluded to it. Most of the episodes, like when you guys listen to all of our old shows, you will catch quite a few of the things that we are going to say today that we have said in other shows. Like, for instance, the comment that that Noah just made about the military. I do remember a couple of episodes
Yeah,
ago.
I remember hearing that.
You brought it up.
Yeah, you had brought it up before.
And I know I've complained about truck drivers before.
Yeah, and it's just it's kind of like we've alluded to it to the point where we were sitting here thinking about like
Why don't we do a whole episode on it?
what our
Yeah.
next thing is, and this is what it came out to. So hopefully you guys don't get tired of hearing this, because I mean, as long as we don't bring in one particular subject that I'm not going to talk about because I don't want to bring it up by saying the subject that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Then hopefully we can actually make this episode a really, really great one.
Yeah.
And now Dave is looking at me
With
like,
a grin,
completely
with a devilish
confused.
grin. Okay, so did you want to do your first story or no?
Get into the reviews?
Yes.
Or okay, yeah, I can do that. Do you want to go first, or you want me to go first? Dave didn't do his homework.
So I have 4.
Okay.
I produced the show. Excuse me.
Yes, but you had one job, Dave.
No, I have.
He has multiple jobs. Yeah, let's gaslight Dave on this episode.
Yes.
Yes.
Man, we
okay.
should just do an episode called Gaslighting Dave.
How does that relate to food though?
You need gas
Cook food.
for food.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh man. All
Yeah,
right.
you go first, and then we'll go back and forth.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll go back and forth. We'll talk about these. And it's funny that you mentioned the whole having gas, because the very first review that I come up with, we're going to try our hardest not to give the company names, because it's not about the company. It's about the people.
Yeah.
So this one came from March of 2021. The manager farted when taking orders.
Like every time.
Well,
that's rough.
That's
dude.
commitment right there.
Yeah, you have to try. This isn't
so-
incompetency. This guy's a legend.
So the review goes, the manager let one rip when we were ordering our meals. It reeked so bad, and there was no apology given. The fumes of it definitely went into the food, and everyone ate that food. We didn't, of course. We walked out without paying and without our food. To me, I would applaud this guy.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta fart, man.
Right,
Yeah.
right. I mean, sometimes you just can't hold it back. No, I'm not going to get into that rabbit hole, because,
The farting rabbit hole?
well, particularly you.
Me? I don't-
What
Yes.
version of Alice in Wonderland
Stop.
did you read?
Stop.
Do you not remember this?
I've farted a couple times.
Yes, but there was one very notable one
At work or on the podcast?
on the podcast, and it was on a very serious.
That's
episode.
That's hilarious.
It was first season. We were talking about the mental awareness, and we had talked about, and I believe it was actually you that did it, because we were talking about how suicide is not the answer. Rip.
Wait, I farted after saying suicide is the
Yes.
answer? Oh, that's awesome.
And it is in the show, because Dave could not get it edited out
I'm
of
so
the
happy
show.
you couldn't edit that out, because that's hilarious. Yeah, no, but like, okay, so the manager might have a gas issue.
That's true.
And if you have a gas issue, don't work in food. Like,
Exactly.
Go get a telemarketer job or something.
Ooh, that would be bad too. But no, and that would be the thing, is like, okay, I can understand, like, you have a bad stomach day. I've had one of those, it's like, obviously there are a couple of people that we work with that have had those.
Be ripping farts, man.
Oh man, they do. And it comes down to a point, it's like, okay, if you are going to be in front of customers and you know that your stomach is upset at that point, call off.
Wait, this guy was the manager, right?
Yes.
Okay, he can literally say, "Hey, Tommy, take care of these people," and then go to the bathroom.
Exactly. But instead, he's taking orders as he's just letting them go.
Dude, I'm gonna be honest. I think that's his life. Like maybe he's like, it's year 4. He's accepted it. He's
could
tried the
be.
meds.
It
It's
could
not
be.
working.
It could be maybe he's like, hey, this food stinks. I'm just helping it out here.
No, but I'm gonna be honest though. He can step away. He doesn't need to, and he's the manager. He can just leave.
Right. And that's the thing is, I think
I just like imagining every single order he takes. Can I take your order?
Every time he hits the buttons.
so you want extra fries?
Yeah. I am curious. Tell me after the show what restaurant that is, because I'm curious.
Yes, I will tell you.
Yeah. Okay, so here's mine. I got one.
Okay.
It's 1 star. It says train wreck. Walked into a coffee shop. No greeting. No eye contact. No thanks. I asked for a bagel that was stacked in a jar on the counter. It was inedible. When I complained to the cashier, she informed me that it was a dog bagel. When I pointed out that there is no label on the jar at all, and nothing indicated that it was made for canine consumption, she just said that she thought I bought it for my dog.
Oh my goodness.
And she says, but I didn't come in with my dog. These people are idiots. Selling bagels can't be that hard.
Oh my goodness.
So this worker, there's 2 stupid people in this story.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's 2 stupid people in this story. One, well, maybe 3. Okay, maybe 3. Okay. Whoever put the bagels in a non-labeled jar is an idiot.
Yes.
And is incompetent.
Yes.
And should be fired.
Agreed.
Second,
Maybe not fired, but agreed.
fired. It's a jar of bagels. It's not that hard.
Okay.
Okay. And so then there's the coffee shop lady who's just like, can I get one of those bagels? Oh, yeah, here you go. With no explanation. Yeah, those are for dogs. Sorry, we didn't label it, but yeah, that's for dogs. And then third, the stupid person who tries to eat it. When you hold it, you should be able to tell, oh, this is for dogs.
Well, the fact that
who orders bagels out of a jar?
That was my question. Like, who puts bagels in a jar?
Okay, a lot of like hippie coffee shops.
So Starbucks.
No,
Not
no,
affiliated.
Starbucks is garbage.
Yeah,
Don't trick Starbucks. They're evil people. But no, like you go to like these coffee shops, like Fresh Bean and Wine Dot. Well, they have like different ways of storing stuff. Like they'll have macaroons in like a case or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So you put bagels in a jar. You know, I bet money this person lives in New York or LA, right? I guarantee it. But yeah, so they put things in weird containers. So there's multiple stupid people in this story.
Yes.
But I think the fact that the worker is just like, here you go.
And not even try to explain it.
Yeah. And maybe they were just tired and then they see the person take a bite and they're like, oh my gosh. So yeah.
What a loser.
People are stupid. Like, be careful about what you eat.
Yes.
And what you serve people. And that's just a general principle for people in the food industry. Is be careful what you give people.
Well, and that leads into, that because that one right there kind of does integrate into the topic of incompetence of this person knew that this was not a human consumable object and sold it to them anyway.
Sorry, I thought that was for your dog.
Yeah.
What dog?
Exactly. But
then they ate it.
Yeah, then they ate it.
Yeah, everyone in this story is dumb.
Yes.
That's why I love it. It's great.
Yeah, because now I just have questions on questions now.
Yeah, like where's the dog?
Exactly. Well, I mean, then there's a question of they make bagels for dogs.
Yeah, right. Do they make cream cheese for dogs? Like, wait, do you think maybe if like she was like, can you put some cream cheese on that? She might have been like, oh, this is for dogs.
No, I don't think
she would have just put cream cheese on it.
Yeah, she would have just done it to begin with.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's my first one. Dave, did you have any thoughts on that?
David's being put on the spot.
Sorry, I'm sorry. All right, Jonathan, your turn.
We have to put Dave on the spot.
There's just so much going on with that one.
Yes, there really was. Man, but see that okay. So that's the thing, and we'll talk about this just a couple more, and then we'll get into another part of it. I have to go back to like the worker knew that it was for an animal.
Yeah.
The worker knew that there was no animal present.
Here you go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but then it's like as you're reading the story, I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, maybe this is a pet coffee shop because they have those out there.
Yeah.
Where
Like, yeah, I've heard of pet bakeries.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it wasn't. Because, okay, so like an example would be there used to be a coffee shop.
actually a pet bakery would be just the Chinese restaurant, just so you know. Anyway,
Dang. No, there was a coffee shop called Sugar near us.
Mm-hmm.
And their coffee was great. They sold donuts, and then they also had a separate container with dog stuff.
right.
Okay. But it was
Was
labeled.
it labeled? Yeah.
Yeah, it was like dog cookies for dogs only.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, because they looked like human cookies, you know? And I think it'd be easier to get confused about a cookie than a bagel, but still.
Yes. I mean, bagels are nasty anyway.
I don't hate bagels, but I don't love bagels.
We had this whole conversation right before we started recording about bagels.
That's why I'm so happy I had
And,
this
yeah.
in my lineup.
Yeah,
So.
because I don't know. I don't like bagels. I think they are the incompetence of breakfast foods. They're so generic.
I'm offended.
There's nothing to them.
Here's what you should do. The only place I like bagels from, I do it
Wait,
rarely.
bagels or bagels?
I said bagels.
You said bagels.
Leave me alone.
You haven't had a good bagel, clearly.
So, and you might
No.
say this is not a good bagel. I'm not as much of a bagel enthusiast as you are. I like bagels warm.
Okay.
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 I do too.
Okay.
Is that bad?
No. But so I go to Big B Coffee
Oh, okay.
and I get just a regular bagel toasted.
Bagel.
I said bagel. Leave me alone. I get one of those items toasted with strawberry cream cheese, and they just like they mush it together and they give it to you in a wrap, and you just eat it. It's so good,
Yeah, see.
so good.
No, I don't have a problem with that, but those aren't like really good bagels. Those are just like generic bagels.
No, but like all these like good bagels kind of taste like armpit.
what are you talking about? Like
I've had good bagels.
He's talking about bagels.
Talking about bagels, man. You never had a good bagel?
a good bagel would almost be akin to like a very puffy pretzel. Like you guys like pretzels, right?
No.
I like pretzels.
Actually, I love pretzels. That's not true. I love pretzels.
Like yeah, a good bagel should almost remind you of a pretzel.
I don't think that would taste good with cream cheese, though. I just want a
Are you-
pretzel.
but
Are
if I
you
wanted
kidding?
if I wanted a pretzel, I'd go get a pretzel, not a
Yeah.
bagel. That's
Pretzels are better. Pretzels are
bread,
German.
but like
that.
there's no talking.
Well, wait.
to you guys.
What type of cream cheese do you put on a bagel, though?
Oh, anything. Like there's plain.
No.
There's garden vegetable. There's any. There's like
no.
the sweet.
No.
stuff.
No. You don't
There's-
put vegetables on a bagel.
They're savory. A bagel is a savory thing usually.
What vegetables are in the vegetable thing?
It's
Garden vegetable on a bagel?
yeah. They're roasted vegetables mixed into cream cheese. What's wrong with that?
Gross.
Cream cheese is very versatile. You
Yeah,
can
I don't-
mix a lot of things
Okay.
into it.
Things you should never put on a bagel: vegetables, normal cream cheese, anything that's not strawberry or cinnamon.
Goodness.
You want a bagel? You put strawberry and cinnamon on that crap.
Okay, I do like blueberry cream cheese.
No, stop
that
it.
one's okay.
It's a dessert.
Cream cheese is also a savory thing. It's
Bagels-
not strictly a
Bagels are
sweet thing.
sweet. Bagels are dessert.
But saying that a bagel should remind you of a pretzel is like saying that a cupcake is just a frosted muffin. Like,
Yeah, they're-
Dang, it kind of is though.
it kind of is.
It kind of is.
A regular muffin
know-
is just an unfrosted cupcake.
Actually, okay. So side tangent to the side tangent. Okay. so like, what's the worst part about cake?
Not having
Not
The
frosting.
having
frosting. The frosting.
It depends on the frosting, though.
Most frosting is garbage.
I like the whipped frosting.
Yes, but
I
even,
like
even
buttercream.
then,
See, buttercream's good too.
but even then, the best part of the cake is the cake itself.
No, that's not how anybody thinks.
Yeah, that's how I think. If I could have a
well,
chocolate cake,
you don't matter.
if I could have, if I could have,
Just shut that one down really quick.
Yeah, but like, why would anyone care about you? Because you're not a person. Okay, so it is my humble opinion that cake is better without frosting. My favorite part of the cake is the cake itself. With bagels, I said bagels. Don't you frickin' laugh at me, you goblin of a man.
Goblin.
No, but okay, bagels and cake aside, tell us your next story, or we'll never get through this.
My next story is now the incompetence of.
We're not incompetent. We're just funny.
But the fact that you want a cake with no frosting,
Yeah,
Yeah.
no normal person wants that.
Cake is
No.
the best part of cake.
it's called a muffin.
Called a cake. No, a muffin is cornmeal and
No, the point of cake is the
No.
contrast between the cake and the frosting. You have both.
Cornmeal is cornbread.
I just like the cake part of cake. I don't know what to tell you. Cake is cake. Y'all trying to add crap to it, make it all fancy. It's good enough on its own. Now, vanilla cake, I don't mess with vanilla cake. Chocolate cake, just regular chocolate cake, no frosting. Immaculate.
I'm afraid to ask, but what are your thoughts on carrot cake?
I'll with carrot cake. Sorry. Shouldn't have. Try not to swear. My bad. I mess with carrot cake.
Anyway, so
I mess with carrot cake. I like it. It's really good.
I don't like carrot cake.
I don't
What?
understand why it exists.
Well, wait, whoa.
It's the same thing as fruitcake. Like, how,
Okay, fruitcake is
who's
horrible.
the moron who came up with a fruitcake? Like, that's the thing.
Grandma?
Well, she needed to be shot or ran over by the reindeer.
Yeah, she got ran over by the reindeer.
Yeah, because she made fruitcake.
Yeah, except instead of in the movie where she like lives, in reality she didn't.
Yeah. Wait,
How did we get on this
Jonathan, what is your next incompetence story?
on this novelty song from like the 1960s or whatever?
Apparently, no. There's a movie.
There is a movie about
You never
it.
saw. I only saw the movie.
I never saw it. I know the song.
Well, the song is in the movie.
And then
The movie is based on the song,
Yeah,
not
I
the
know.
other way around.
Who
I'm
was it that
sure.
came up with the parody? The grandma got run over by a beer truck or whatever.
A beer truck.
I don't know.
Yeah, that one.
Well, so like if you get hit by a reindeer, you might recover. If you get hit by a truck, you're just gonna explode.
And that's why truck drivers need to be able to like earn their CDLs.
Yeah,
Yes.
they're incompetent and they're hurting grandma.
Yes. Stop hurting grandma, people.
Stop hurting grandma.
We're not talking box trucks. These are 53-foot semis.
Yes.
So that's like there's a
That was
Gabriel
a great way
Iglesias
to bring
joke
that
about
into
that.
this.
There's a Gabriel Iglesias joke about that where he's like, you get hit by a bus in Hawaii, the guy's like, walk it off. You get hit by a big like double-decker bus in Britain, it's like a man exploded today.
That would be about right.
Yeah.
And, you know, it does come back to, and we are bringing this slowly back in. You guys have to forgive us because, man, that was just a total rant.
No, I'm not gonna apologize. That was funny.
It was
Deal
great.
with it.
It was very funny.
I believe in punishing the audience.
Yes, because as we said in one of our last episodes, we don't like you.
No, we don't.
We
Go
do.
away.
No, please don't go away. Go away
You're
and
a
bring back
hypocrite.
more people.
No, we got it. Look, dude, it's like a relationship, okay? If you don't keep it interesting by occasionally being toxic, they won't come back.
I don't think that
Relationship
works. I don't think
advice
that
with
works
Noah.
well.
Okay.
Yeah, man. No, you got to like terrorize their conscience.
That could be its own podcast, you know.
Oh, dude, that would be hilarious. Could you imagine just us like people give us their like relationship situations and we just like meme on it?
Just give
Oh, that would be great.
just give them really
So now
bad
now we've
advice.
become an advice column, a virtual advice column.
we would
We
be,
are an
we would be so good at that.
We are an advice column.
Well, sometimes we're an advice column and sometimes we're a politics column. Other times we're like,
Well, we give our advice on politics. We give our advice for religion. We give our advice.
Speaking
for,
of incompetence, politics, you
Right.
know,
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
that's something that
that's
we
a whole
just-
other thing.
Yes,
I got some not politics, but I have some medical
Okay.
stuff coming. so-
Okay, we'll get into that one
Yeah, yeah.
hopefully. All right, my
right,
next
yours.
one. Yeah, my next
Yeah.
one. This is actually a local establishment, like a very local establishment
Oh,
near us.
oh no.
Yeah. So the One Star, or One Owl, I guess it was off of TripAdvisor. I don't know how they rate their stuff, but anyway, it was the title is Not a Good Experience at All. We had a server. I'm not going to give her name, but apparently was having a very bad day. She spilt the first entree and didn't clean it up. Each time she went away, it was 10 minutes until she came back and did not inquire how we were doing, if we needed anything else. She served the table next to us, even though they had arrived 15 minutes after we did. We had asked for refills on appetizers, and when she brought them out 15 minutes later, she just slid them on the corner of the table and didn't even take the old ones away. Some of the entrees were incomplete, and when we asked her about it, she responded, "Well, I don't know because I didn't make it." Kind of go on because this is kind of lengthy a little bit.
Lady sucks.
Yeah. At the end of it, it took about 10 to 15 minutes to receive the bill and just a glass of water. They decided to leave because they weren't getting their entrees or anything reasonably. The manager came out and offered a $6 dessert, which at this particular establishment is like a small piece of cake. So we went looking for the waitress because we needed change, because she was not getting a tip for any of this. Another server went to look for her, found her sitting around the corner with another server who had already finished her shift. She was very unenthused and just did not seem to care. Here's where it kind of gets irritated for me.
Okay.
It's just irritated for me because they go through the entire thing giving out, the entree wasn't right. It was incomplete. Had to wait for a long time to get their stuff. At the very end of it, they say it was very, very unorganized and terrible service, not to mention the food was cold. I want to touch on that part really quick, and then we'll get into
the food being cold.
The food being cold. It kind of, because we've seen this with many other places, with many other reviews, and this is where you have to take reviews almost with a grain of salt sometimes, because they will throw things in there just to kind of get that little thing. First off, if you didn't get all of your food, how is it cold? If you didn't get your entrees, how is it cold? I mean, it's just one of those things of like, it's like, okay.
If it was cold, why'd you finish the first appetizer?
Right.
Instead of sending it back.
Right. Or even eat the food that you did get if it was cold.
Yeah.
I've gone into places. I went into a place close by, close by us. I've gone in there a couple different times. Ordered a meal. Absolutely love them. I mean, they are very great. In fact, I'll go ahead and name it out because I like the place. It's Leo's. Leo's Coney Island. We have a few of them around us. If you are in the area or what a Coney Island is, incredible food. Some of them.
Typically cheap too.
Typically very cheap. This particular one, I actually got Dave onto this one at one point because it's a fried chicken dinner for about $9, $10. I thought it was going to be just a couple of small pieces of chicken, some fries. The fries are usually pretty good. No, I'm talking it was a full-on chicken breast, a leg, a wing, and actually I think it was 2 chicken breasts. I mean, it was like a meal that was definitely could feed 2 people. And I absolutely love it. It's like, I absolutely love it. I went in there once and bit into a piece of chicken, and literally it was ice cold.
Ooh.
Like it looked like it was cooked all the way through, but I mean, it was ice cold. And the reason why I really, really appreciate these people is because I told them about it, was not mean about it, was just like, hey, this is very cold. Even to the touch, the waitress felt it and was like, yeah, we're going to go talk about this immediately. They took it back. They gave me like half off of my meal. The whole them taking it half off is not what I'm talking about. But the fact of they were actually, it was a simple mistake that they made, and they have since greatly corrected it.
They were proactive about trying to make the customer happy.
Yes. And it's like, it leads me to those things where it's like, okay, and it leads me into more of this particular review of there was an issue with my food and they resolved it to the best of their ability.
Sure.
If you have a problem with your meal and the manager comes out and was like, oh, we'll give you a piece of cake for free. I'm sorry, that doesn't cut it.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah.
To me, that is just kind of a lack of concern of here's something to get you to stop talking.
Yeah.
That type of thing.
Yeah.
But what makes it even worse is, we don't know anything about this other lady. We don't know anything about the waitress. We know that, people have bad days. But it kind of seems like this is where the laziness really comes in, because going through the review, she spilled the first entree, didn't clean it up. She went away each time. It was 10 to 15 minutes before she came back. Even for the appetizers, it was 15 minutes before she brought refills for them. 10 to 15 minutes to even get a glass of water, and basically disappearing once she got the bill, once she got like the payment for it, literally just disappearing without coming back and offering even the change.
I'm curious what she meant by spilled. Like, did she just go to the table, dump it, and walk away? Like, I don't.
Right, and that's something that I was thinking about too. Like, I'm not really sure about
I want
either.
more details on this, but I do think both the waitress and the manager, I think they're both incompetent.
Yes.
So this is a broken.
Well, it sounds like
Ship.
whatever restaurant this is, it's probably a toxic work environment. Like,
Yep.
you can barely get anyone to work there because it's just so horrible. It's probably horrible to work there.
Well, but the thing about it, and I've talked
And people
to
don't care for that reason.
I've talked to people who have worked at this particular restaurant. It's not a like a mom and pop chain. I mean, this is a chain restaurant.
Yeah.
And I've talked to people that have worked at this particular establishment before, and they've told me that it's very difficult to work there because of the standards that they expect. That being said, reading this review, it kind of seems like their standards have just drastically fallen. Now, I know that a lot of it, again, this was back in, well, what did I say? This is 2013. Oh, wow. Is when this happened. Is when this review came through. So this could have very well been a brand new, like it just opened. I don't know when the store opened up.
Yeah.
Or anything like that. I know that usually when you have a grand opening for particularly a restaurant, there are problems. Since then they may have gotten it fixed or whatever, but at the same time, if you have this type of person that just they just cannot deal with the day, whether they're having a bad day or whatever. What did we say? The response to an incomplete meal was, I don't know, I didn't make it. That to me is, you're gone.
Yeah, if I was the manager and I saw or heard that, I'd fire you.
Yeah. Or at least send you home for the day.
I'd fire him. I wouldn't even. I'd say like, hey, I don't care if you're having a bad day. You're done.
Yeah.
And maybe that's harsh, but I don't care.
So the converse of that could be, like you said, if they have an impossibly high standard at that restaurant, then essentially no matter what you do, you're always wrong. So if you get used to that kind of mentality, like no matter how much I try, it's never going to be good enough, you stop caring. That's what I would do.
Right. But, and we've talked about this on the show before too, of if you get to the point where you don't care about the job that you're in, go look for another job. Don't just sit there in the same toxic environment just day in and day out because it's a job. No, if you can't hold up to the standards of the establishment, go find a place that you can, or better yourself, one way or the other. I know that, and this is not an attack on the waiting staff or the service side of jobs, because I know that it's difficult. People themselves are difficult to deal with. Sometimes you want to scream in their face or spill food on them on purpose or whatever. but there has to be that level of professionalism where a manager looked at you and decided you look like you can handle sitting or standing in front of public to do your job.
Yeah.
So there is that level of professionalism that you have to hold on to at the same time.
Here's the thing. I slightly disagree with that last statement. Let me explain.
Okay.
A lot of times, no. A manager, whoever's in charge, is not looking at you and going, you seem like a good fit to represent this company. A lot of times, they're so short-staffed and so desperate for people, they're like, oh, you have 4 working limbs, you're in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there might not be a standard when it comes to hiring. I've certainly worked in a job like that.
Mm-hmm.
With, if we want to get back to like incompetent coworkers and that, my last job, I worked with at least 3 drunks and 2 drug addicts, 2 of which were allowed to operate a forklift. One of which I actually witnessed operate it under the influence, and the other one I only heard a story about.
Mm-hmm.
But when that happens, you as a fellow employee, you kind of think, is this really the caliber of people that this place is going to hire? Because I don't want to be a part of this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
Yeah, and I mean, there is a difference where, yes, there are some jobs that they are so short-staffed that they will hire just anybody who comes in, because you need the body. We've seen it in our line of work, especially.
What are you talking about?
Especially, and I know this is something that everybody always comes back to, but you can notice the shift in work environments pre to post COVID.
Oh yeah.
Pre-COVID, a lot of people, there were standards. I mean, you didn't see, we talked about the truck drivers. There were a lot of really, really, really good truck drivers that were out there. And I mean, when I'm talking about good, the way that we load and unload stuff at our job is not the most common thing. It's kind of unique the way that our ramp and everything works, but it's not that bad of a place to pull in and back out. We had truck drivers that would have the truck pulled in backed up to the ramp within a couple of inches, waiting for us to pick it up or to raise it, without us even being out there. I mean, we didn't have to guide them or stop them or direct them or anything else like that. You get to post-COVID, and a lot of the great truck drivers, most of them retired or they quit because shortage of work, that type of thing like that. And so they went to found other jobs, or they moved on to different companies. And now it's gotten to the point where, a lot of trucking companies are just like Dave said,
you have 4 working limbs, you're in.
Yeah, you're in. You're hired. You can, you have eyes that work. You can kind of understand, a basic road sign. So you're good.
Kind of understand road signs.
Yeah. And so post-COVID, you get these truck drivers that just are absolutely
they're horrible.
They're horrible. And it's not just the trucking community, but service side. Even a lot of managements, a lot of things like that. It's gotten to the point where there are places that are hiring managers with absolutely no skills or no experience whatsoever, and they're putting them in these management positions or in these leadership positions, and basically like, don't burn the place down, and that's it.
Yeah, my last job was kind of that bad pre-COVID though. Mm-hmm. So I remember this one guy. Let me see how much of the story I can remember. He is what I would refer to as too stupid to have a job. He would arrive to work, park his car right next to the door, clock in, walk back out, park his car, then come back in, then change into his work clothes. There was a rule that we couldn't have any food or drink aside from water back where we were unloading the trucks. Mm-hmm. This guy would regularly bring in 2 liters and eat like Twinkies and stuff on the job. He couldn't understand why everybody would get mad at him. He would hide to play on his phone. This is all the same guy.
Okay, and sounds awesome.
Yeah. He didn't understand that he was doing anything wrong.
It's Noah's role model.
See, that's...
Play on my phone, eat Twinkies? Let's go.
That's one of those things that makes me question, like, how does this work in your head? What makes you not realize... How do you not think you're doing anything wrong? You don't see any of us doing the same things you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Well, and with that one, I'm curious if that is necessarily an incompetence thing or if that is the apathy of the job, of the not caring enough to even...
No, he literally didn't understand why he kept getting in trouble. Like, management would yell at him all the time.
Well, when you said too stupid to work, the first thing I thought was, did he drive himself?
He did.
And the fact that you said he did, I'm like, oh, okay.
So the guy had common sense.
Well, he had enough ability to drive a car
right.
to pass the state exam, which means he's probably not special needs.
Mm. At the same time, there are a few that can still do it. In particular, we know one in particular that, you know, it's somebody that we work with, that he's a little bit slower than others.
He's awesome. You'd leave him alone.
No, but that's the thing. That's the thing is this guy. Okay, we love him to death.
Well, that's a good example because he has stuff, right?
Yeah.
And this guy probably had stuff, but he's still good at what he does.
Yes.
Yeah, he still takes pride in his work.
Still hardworking. Yeah.
Yeah. This guy, the guy that we work with right now, he comes in every day at like 7:30. He's there at 7:30, whether the doors are open or not. The moment the doors open, he's in. He clocks in, gets his cup of coffee, and goes straight to work. And I mean, he just does not stop, except for right at 12 o'clock for lunch. He clocks back in at 12:30, even though we have an hour lunch now. He clocks right back in at 12:30 and does not stop until time to go home. I mean, the man that we are talking about is absolutely an unstoppable force, and he is great at his job.
Well, the guy Dave is talking about is also an unstoppable force, but it's just a force
because he never started.
Yeah.
You can't be unstoppable if you never start.
So
he's unstoppably stupid.
I do have another painfully incompetent story.
Okay.
This one is going to give us all the heebie-jeebies.
Okay.
I work at a pharmacy, and a pharmacist gave a customer a flu shot and threw the used syringe in the container with the new syringes.
Oh.
Instead of the container to dispose them. Another pharmacist went to grab a new syringe later on and ended up grabbing the same used syringe and getting stabbed with it.
There are so many health code violations right there.
Caused a total crap storm.
Yes.
No kidding.
So we talk about we talk about a guy farting, food. We talk about, well, actually, you were physically put in danger with the truck driver.
Mm-hmm.
When you're in the medical field, whether it's working at a pharmacy giving flu shots or whether it's a paramedic or a doctor or whatever, you got to know your stuff.
Yeah.
Okay?
There really is no room for error with that kind of thing.
And all you had to do is put it in the big bin that says dispose.
Mm-hmm. And kind of like my first question that I was having as you were saying this, because, you know, I've done that where I've thrown something away that I shouldn't have, or, you know, meant to throw it in one and ended up, you know, messing up. But I mean, obviously we don't work with like medical things. You know, so my first question is, was this just he just made a mistake and didn't realize it?
Yeah, was this person on autopilot? We've all done something stupid on autopilot,
yes.
like throwing something that shouldn't go in the trash or whatever.
Right. Yes, but I think it's different than that, because this would be like taking a Coke can out of a container of Coke, drinking it, and instead of putting it in the trash, you put it back, the empty container back in the Coke container.
Yeah, but I mean, we're in. I mean, I'm not justifying it because yes,
like
that is a huge health issue. I mean, obviously, it's a very huge health issue because somebody got stabbed by the used syringe.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like that. Yeah, that's
You can
cause
get
for
AIDS, yeah.
that's cause to lose your license as a pharmacist or a doctor. Or
That's
whatever.
called a lawsuit.
Yes. But like what Dave said too is like, you know, got to ask the question is like, could it have been autopilot? Could this been his 150th flu shot of the day? And he, you know, in his mind, he's like, all right, take it out, shot, throw, and just basically released before he even realized what he was doing.
Yeah, acted without thinking, essentially.
And it could have been, but in the moments where you do those things, you're like, oh crap, I shouldn't have thrown that away. And then you pick it back up. So,
but what if it didn't register?
Well,
I mean,
then he shouldn't
I'm
be
asking.
working.
I'm asking because, you know, again, this leads into what we're talking about.
So when we're talking about incompetency comes from not being mindful of what you're doing.
Right.
Okay. So it could have been him not being mindful of what he's doing. But that is just showing that someone who's not focused on their job shouldn't have that job.
I have ways to go on that one.
Yeah, and and there are exceptions, but and maybe you don't fire the guy, but you definitely have to settle it out of court.
Right, yeah, because again, that one is a lawsuit that is destined to happen. That's not a lawsuit waiting to happen. That's destined.
Gonna happen.
Yeah. You know, again, it's like I asked the questions as far as like, okay, was he on autopilot? Like Dave said, was, you know, he just unmindful of exactly where he threw it? Because yes, in looking on the outside, we see that it's like, okay, he threw a used medical, you know, device into a batch of brand new ones. But it may not have even registered with him.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I know that I've done it where I've gotten rid of something or I've thrown something away. I was cooking one day and I went to crack an egg and cracked the egg, threw the yolk into the trash can and threw the egg, the shell into the pan and didn't realize it until I'm sitting there cooking. Then I'm like, well, crap, you know?
Yeah, but you took it out.
Well, yeah, because
this guy closed the box.
But it's again, it's one of those where it's like you don't realize it until after it happens.
Yeah, until your friend gets
until
stabbed.
It's too late.
Yeah, with the syringe.
Yeah, until it's too late. And so it's like in my mind, I'm thinking it's like, okay, maybe he's just so exhausted from doing his job that he messed up.
Maybe.
Again, that's
Clock
not
out,
just
go
not
home.
justifying
Go
it.
home.
But
you're right.
So-
but you could say that absent-mindedness is the case with all these.
So there is the case to be made then. If this happened because this person was exhausted, then it's very possible that their employer had them on a ridiculous shift or
Right.
like back-to-back shifts with like 4 hours in between them or something. And that practice, just like with truck drivers, they actually have, you know, a standard. The DOT says if you've driven this many hours, you have to stop. You can't go anywhere for X amount of hours. You have to rest.
Right.
So I think shifts like that, if that is the case, we don't know that was the case, but employers running employees ragged is going to cause more mistakes like that, and I think that should almost be criminalized.
I was going to say that's not necessarily incompetence or a lack of, you know, knowledge or a lack of knowing as far as the person involved. That leads to the company, you know, just not caring about their employees enough. You know, we know, especially, and see, that's the thing about it is the medical field is so hard. Like I do not take doctors or nurses for granted because, I mean, you read stories about doctors that will go on a 23-hour surgery. And I mean, they have to be wide awake because you're literally holding someone's life in your hands. And, you know, it's like we as people, we trust people to not screw up.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, it's like you get those like whether they have the mindset to work 23 hours straight and not mess up at all. And then you get some that, you know, that can't even work 2 hours without, you know, breaking something. And it's just like it's so difficult because, again, in my opinion, it doesn't necessarily fall back on a lot of the people involved. It falls back on the employers that are allowing this to go on.
The big issue with the medical field, and this is the last thing I'll say, but the big issue with the medical
Ever?
field
This is just the last thing we'll
last,
ever hear
last
from
thing
you?
I'll ever say. When you get out of when you get your degree, you go into residency. The first year, typically residents are working 24-hour shifts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you work 24 hours, you get a day off, you go back 24 hours.
Usually it's 24-48.
Sometimes, but well, so like,
Sometimes,
okay, here's an
yeah.
example. So my sister worked in West Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
When you're short staffed, sometimes you have to come back every 24 hours.
Right.
But so like those 24-hour shifts just crush people.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so it's the medical field has a lot of issues with that. But yeah, overall, like incompetency among the medical field just really freaks us out because we depend on those people.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, what's the next one you got?
So yeah, this is my last.
I got one more too.
My last review, and then we'll move very quickly into what's left of the show.
Yeah.
This one happened in 2023. Just actually the end of last month.
Oh.
In Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I didn't even know Baton Rouge was still existed.
What's
That was the place that got hit by Hurricane Katrina way back then, and I know a lot of the city is like still
flooded?
pretty much lost.
Jeez.
Yeah. There are places they still haven't gotten back, and that was when 2012, 2013.
I was 11.
Oh man,
Wild.
I was in my first or what? 2011. I was in my first year of college.
Dude.
First or second year. I don't remember now. I'm too old. But no, it was a very long time. So yeah, this one happened at a establishment that is very worldwide. I have been a Plus member for years now, and how this all played out has really left me in shock. Due to the errors and failures to fulfill my order, they have closed my account due to me refusing to pay for items I didn't receive. Let's see. I rarely had any issues with the delivery system, but once I moved, it seemed like every order there was more and more items missing. In the beginning, I figured out it was just they overlooked items and it was a mistake, but they fixed it. After a bit of time, I started to think that they knew just what they were doing, and they were charging me for items they never even looked for or didn't even check to see if they were on my order. I'm having to like kind of go through this because
They typed it up wonky.
Yeah, they really did. But basically, reading on, due to me being thorough, I got my account closed. I'm no longer a member of this place. But to top it off, they waited till I paid for my membership to be renewed, and then the next day closed my account, and didn't refund the money back to me. So basically, they told me to take it up with the bank. I'm not going to let this go. I will make sure that everybody knows that this place is trash. So essentially, from what I can read on this one, the delivery system that they have, items would go missing. Now, most of us know that when you do online orders, there are chances that the item that you're looking for isn't available in the store.
Sure.
Most of places will have backup items or substitute items that if they don't have this, we can substitute it for blank. Apparently, this place refused to do even substitute items, but yet they were still charging for the entire order and not taking off the order or not taking off the items that weren't available.
Yeah,
That's literally
that's
stealing.
criminal.
That's
Yeah.
stealing.
Yeah, that is stealing. And I've been there. where I have ordered something and it wasn't there and they charged me for it. Normally you can call a company and you can be like, hey, I received this order, this wasn't there. You can take show the receipt and stuff like that. Normally they will try to take care of it because they want the customer to feel safe. They want the customer to come back and feel that what they had a problem with taken care of.
Sure.
According to this person, they basically just played it off like this guy was lying, and then at one point just closed the account and basically was like, you're no longer a member. The thing that gets me is waiting till the day that they paid the account fees before they close the order. I have a big issue with that because I can see both sides of it, where one, the account may have already been getting shut down before the payment was made.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one way that you can look at it. On the other side of it, if you know that you're about to close somebody's account, don't just wait to take money from them just to take it. I mean, that to me is a big issue with many companies. Banks even do the same thing, where they will wait till something comes through and then they'll lock the account. And you can't even get to it. You can't do anything about it. And you're basically at their mercy. And, this particular establishment, their membership is roughly about $60 a month.
Holy crap.
So, yeah, it's a very, very, very expensive place.
So I wouldn't really consider this incompetency so much as just malice.
It's criminality, dude.
Yeah. Criminal malice. I could see that. But it leads back to the, there are ways that you can go about doing this particular job. Again, if they don't have something, mark it and just say it's not there.
Well, if they're ordering it off a website, take it off the website.
Yeah.
If they're a big company, they should have IT guys for that very reason.
Right.
I mean, and if they're understaffed, then they're not running their company properly. But not just with this example, but with many of these examples, incompetency leads to theft.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're robbing the company you're working for or the customers. Like in the example Dave gave about the guy who comes into work and plays on his phone.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's stealing time, right?
Yeah.
So there's, theft is often the result of incompetency or laziness.
And it's sad because a lot of times companies will overlook certain things that should be addressed, and they will bite down on things that are just menial.
Yeah.
There's a couple of guys that I follow on TikTok, and I don't remember what their name is, honestly, because I see their videos pop up.
Sure.
They have their own podcast, and one of them was talking about he used to work for a chain grocery store, and he was on break. He actually was just going to buy like a candy bar and a drink, and as he was in line getting ready to pay for it, something happened where he had to like step away. And he stepped away from the register that, it was like the self-checkout or whatever. Well, apparently the management saw the video of him doing so, thought he was stealing, and fired him on the spot. And it was just like, he even, tried to argue about it, saying it's like, no, I was about to pay for it. Something happened where I had to step away to help, that type of thing. And they're like, no, we, you're labeled as a thief, so we're firing you.
Wow.
And they literally called security and police to escort him off the premises, and he was not allowed back in that store ever again.
That's crazy.
And it's just like one of those types of thing where it's like they bite down in this it's a freaking candy bar. It's like what, $1.50. Drinks are $2 now. But then you get a guy that literally will get paid $16, $17 an hour and does absolutely nothing all day. And they don't even second guess it.
Yeah. So this is the last one I got. This one is a story. It's not a Yelp review, but it's a story of incompetency. And I found it hilarious. Kind of sad, but hilarious. My wife worked at a gas station and found out her coworker who had been there for years, had been refilling the napkin dispenser by cramming them in one at a time through the front slot. She walked up and unfastened the back, and apparently the coworker's jaw hit the floor.
Oh,
He had never considered that there might be a better way to do this.
oh! I nearly choked on my drink as you were reading that. That's
I thought that'd be a funny one to cap things off.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. That is. Ooh.
Just cramming them one at a time. And your turn? It's like, what are you doing, man?
Just slip it through the slot.
Put it
Just
through
slip
the
it.
This takes a long time. Next, you're not doing it right. It just opens the top. Oh my gosh.
Oh, man.
I wish I knew. She didn't say in her story what restaurant it was, but I wish I knew.
That. Yeah, that's. Okay. Yeah, there are those aha moments.
Yeah.
That is an aha moment, and that's an entire episode of itself too. Because I mean,
Oh, aha moment.
yeah, just aha
Dude,
moments.
Yeah.
Like even personally having those. That is again, that is the definition of incompetence.
Yeah.
Because
Doing things the opposite way of how they should be done.
yeah,
And,
and
it's
I'm sure
obvious.
in his mind he's got to be thinking like, there's got to be something. There's got to be a better way to do
No,
this.
no. This guy, stop. Think about the scenario I just set up.
Uh-huh.
This guy doesn't think. This guy acts. This is a man of action, not a man of thought. This man is like, he's like, I got to find a way to put these napkins in faster. So he just starts doing the same thing faster. Like, that's the type of dude this
Like he's
is.
shoveling, like he's
Yeah, like
shuffling
cards.
cards.
Yeah.
just-
Yeah. Like, this is a man of action, not a man of thought. So I guess the moral of the whole episode is sometimes we ourselves can be incompetent, but
Yes.
try and pay attention to what you're doing.
Mhm.
Try and do good work. Just try and pay
Is that what we want to? That's the takeaway of this.
Yeah,
of this
pay
episode?
attention, dummy. That's the takeaway. Stop being stupid.
I
Be
think
mindful of your surroundings, maybe. Like,
Look both ways when you cross the street.
if you're playing on your phone and you don't see anybody else doing that, maybe think
Yeah.
about that for a second.
Yeah, maybe you're the weird guy at the funeral. Just playing Clash of Clans.
no, because that reminds me of.
Wait, did that
I was-
happen?
I was actually in a church for a funeral, and
Here we go.
Yes, and when was it? It was back in like 2018, 2019. When did Pokemon come out?
1998.
No, Pokemon Go.
Oh, that was like 2016 or
Yeah.
something. That was a while
'cause,
ago.
Just bear with me on this. So, in church, there's a funeral service going on, and the crowd is like, of course, they're very solemn because it's the memorial service, and the preacher is up and he's giving his message.
Mm-hmm.
As he gets down, they're doing like the change of staff or whatever, like they're getting ready to bring the next person up that's gonna like sing a song. As they are getting up there, you hear a couple times in the crowd that famous whoosh noise from a Pokemon popping up on the screen. Somebody was literally playing Pokemon Go in the middle of a funeral,
And they had their volume on.
and they had their volume
They had
on.
their volume on.
Yes.
That is so hilarious.
Yes.
I bet it was an adult. I really do.
Oh, it was.
It wasn't some kid. It was like
No.
some 43-year-old.
Most
He
likely.
was just like, Pokemon.
Yeah, he was probably there just to get away from, or for the day.
To get away. Yeah, because when I need a getaway, I go
go to a funeral.
I go to a funeral to relax.
Yes. Well, that's how it goes. You go to a funeral.
No, I don't.
You go to a funeral for to relax. You go to if you're in Alabama, you go to family reunions to pick up your next wife.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, stop. I'm going to defend Alabama.
Alabama sucks.
Alabama is not the state that struggles the most with that issue.
West Virginia.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
But that's because they can't get off the mountains.
No, but Alabama's like number 5. So like, leave Alabama alone because there's 4 other states that are messing up way worse.
Well, see, I think that's why Alabama has such a good football team, though.
Because like all their strong,
they're all inbred.
all their
yeah.
strong people like have intercourse with one another.
Yes,
and then they
their
produce,
entire football team is inbred. So.
They're just like super dumb, but like just juiced. They're like all taking steroids too. Oh man. Okay, I thought about something, and I'm not a football guy. Okay. So
Right.
I can watch football and enjoy it, but I when it comes to sports, I prefer like hockey and UFC, right?
Okay.
So, but
That's an incompetent sport too. I'm sorry.
UFC.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of people get messed up.
Sitting in an octagon and just literally pummeling each other, and
Just be good at it.
be good at it. It's last man standing. It's whoever just doesn't get hit last.
No,
Yes.
that's not at all true. They get hit multiple times.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, if you get hit less than the other guy, then they'll.
That was my point. It's last man standing. So whoever doesn't get hit the last, like
No,
it
'cause
comes
it's an
down to
accumulation of it.
one last shot.
Unless they tap out from a grapple.
Okay. But I mean, it's like you're literally you're putting yourself in with another person that's just as dumb as you are
They're not dumb.
and hoping that you don't get your teeth knocked in.
Dude, yeah. Like dude, honestly, like no. The strength of like professional fighters it's wild.
Oh, it's because they have no brains to.
That's not true.
Oh, yeah,
there
it
are
is.
many professional fighters who are very intelligent. Okay.
Mm.
Now, if you were to compare doctors to professional fighters, there's probably a discrepancy. But
I would think so.
But
I would hope so.
you compare your average mire worker to a fighter, the fighter might come out on top.
Could you imagine Rocky Balboa?
No,
being
Rocky
your
Balboa is
doctor?
not smart at all. Okay.
He's your doctor. But hey,
hey, you got a brain injury? Me too.
I was on this fight one time. And,
Adrian! Oh man, Rocky Balboa
gosh.
doctor. That's a good movie idea.
Rocky MD.
Yeah. Okay, wait. Did I ever tell you the time where I Mandela affected myself with Rocky movies?
No.
Okay, so you guys know what the Mandela effect is, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, well, for the listeners who don't know, it's when you misremember something and then it like becomes like ingrained in your thought process. Now, typically, the Mandela effect happens culturally to multiple people, but it was just me. So there's a scene in the first Rocky movie. I don't know if I talked about this before on the podcast. I don't think I have.
I don't know.
There's a scene in the first Rocky movie where there's this girl who's hanging out with kind of these like bummy thug street dudes, and Rocky knows her brother, her older brother. So Rocky's like, hey, don't hang out with them, I'll walk you home. And he's walking her home. And the way I misremembered the conversation is him saying something about, yeah, when you get hit in the head a lot, your brain don't work so good. But apparently he never said that.
He did say that at some point.
But not in
Not in
that movie. It's in a different movie.
Yeah.
And so I misremembered that. And so so my buddy is always just like, it's always just like that I've made up Rocky movies in my head is kind of how he views it.
Did he also say, Luke, I am your father?
So, you get hit in the head a lot and then you have a kid and you're the father and the kid's the kid.
Goodness.
Adrian.
If we want to talk about incompetence at any point, that
Talk about Rocky.
cinema. Dang it, though, Dave.
Dude.
You did bring it up.
Dang it, Dave.
We went the entire episode up until now
Without
without
Star
referencing
Wars.
Star Wars, and here he is right before we quit the show.
Bump.
That was like the one thing that I did not want to bring up the entire show. I wanted to see if we could get through it.
Warhammer is better.
We're not gonna get
Dude,
into
it's so much better. They have chainsaw swords. That's so cool.
That's Gears of War.
No. They have chainsaw.
Guns.
Yeah, but it's like the knife you put on bayonet. It's like a chainsaw bayonet connected to the bottom of the gun. This is a chainsaw sword. It's just a sword, but it's a chainsaw.
So it's chainsaw.
Yeah, it's a chainsaw sword.
Okay, if we want to talk about incompetence,
No, I will show you what a chainsaw.
Hollywood.
I will show you what a
Hollywood
chainsaw
is
sword
very
looks like.
incompetent. Movie like TV channels. I was telling Dave about this. I was watching last night on a certain channel they were doing a Jurassic Park marathon. So when you think of a marathon, what do you expect?
All the movies in that series in sequential order.
In sequential order. Starting with Jurassic Park 2, Jurassic Park 3, Jurassic World, and then Jurassic World Dominion. Or is there another one? I don't remember.
I don't.
There's like 6 of them. 5 or 6 of them. But no. Very first one in the order was Jurassic World. I'm thinking, sweet, they're going to do the Jurassic World series first. Nope. Jurassic World. Jurassic Park. Jurassic World Dominion. Jurassic Park 3. Jurassic Park 2. None of them were in order. None of them made sense if you tried to go through it. And that irritates the crap out of me.
Jurassic Park is an overrated series.
I will give you that Jurassic Park is a bit overrated. It's a bit outplayed. But it's the incompetence of these people that think that, oh, this will make perfect sense.
Yeah.
One of my all-time favorite TV shows got canceled because Fox, yes, I'm pointing it out, Fox was stupid and played the first couple of episodes out of order. And so it made absolutely no sense to the story. Firefly.
Oh, yeah.
Firefly is an amazing show. It was only 14 episodes long. It only made like half a season because when Fox played it, they played the second episode first. They played like up in like the 4th or the 5th episode second, and then played the first episode.
What?
Yes, and so none of it made sense. And as far as the story, if you watch Firefly, there is a storyline from start to finish. Even they brought out Serenity, which was the kind of the ending movie to kind of finish up the storyline, and it has a full story line to it.
Now I kind of want to go watch Breaking Bad in like random order.
Oh gosh.
Like start with an episode from season 4 and then season 1 and like
just watch how he drastically just switches from evil to good to
Yeah. Breaking Bad's a good show. I'm currently watching Billions.
I haven't seen that yet.
Oh, it's good. It's so good. The reason I like it is because Paul Giamatti's in it.
I like Paul Giamatti.
I like Paul Giamatti.
Paul Giamatti is a good actor.
I will like shows just because he plays a good character in it.
Yeah.
Like even if I hate the rest of the show, like he never misses for me.
No. One of my favorite movies of his is Big Fat Liar.
Yes.
Just because of Paul Giamatti.
Oh my gosh.
Is
I love Frankie.
absolutely
I like
insane.
Frankie Muniz too.
See, I did.
Well,
I mean,
he's a little weasel, but like because when growing up as a kid, you're like, he made the old guy angry.
Yeah.
But now watching it as an adult, I'm like,
you understand
you're
why.
like, wait a minute. This is like an amazing top tier actor.
Yes.
In this crappy kids movie, just having the fun. He's having the most
time of his
fun
life.
he's ever had. Like he's loving it. He's like, oh, I play a billionaire movie producer who has a pet monkey that is like a stuffed animal.
Yes.
Like a stuffed animal pet monkey. It's like, yeah, Paul Giamatti ate the scenery of every scene.
Oh, absolutely.
I love that movie.
Absolutely. He did an amazing job. And that leads into, and this is where we end it because we have to end it.
We have to end it sometime.
Yeah, we have to end it at some point. You take these good actors, and back in like when some of these movies were made, they were original. They were, top, like you said, they're brought in some top tiered actors, and they were good. Nowadays, everything is so rehashed that there's nothing original at all. I mean, everything is a remake of another remake of another remake of another remake of another remake, and there's absolutely no original ideas. And I think to circle it back in, it's the incompetency of Hollywood because Hollywood sucks. If you guys want to come up with some original ideas, you guys were going through a writer's strike here recently. Hire new writers.
History
It might still be going on.
Use history. There's so much that everything has happened.
But the problem is they can't use history
without pushing a narrative.
without pushing something that actually absolutely makes no sense.
Yeah.
They can't use, for crying out loud, they made a freaking Bible movie that is, the story alone is so chaotic and so, heartbreaking.
Which Bible movie? His
No.
Only Son?
No.
Oh, Noah. Yeah. Well, oh my gosh. Well, because what they decided to do with that is they were borrowing from the Gnostic writings, which come much after even the New Testament is written.
Right.
So yeah, that movie's wild.
Yeah, it's insane. And it's like
mechs in it.
if you really pay attention, I mean, for those who know the actual story of Noah in the Bible, you read it. Yes, there are some parts that are kind of like, okay, it's boring. He's building an ark, and it took him so many years to do it.
But is he building a character arc?
Kind of.
Kind of.
Like, yeah, it's good, and then it's bad, and then it's good again.
Yeah, and it's like they had so much potential just by going with the story, but yet here's giant rock monsters
Yeah,
that are helping build the ark.
Yeah.
And then there's
What, you don't remember that from the Bible?
No.
And then there's 5 people on the ark when there's supposed to be 6, and
Then
there's a guy that just randomly shows up on the ark because he wanted to kill Noah. And then he gets kicked off the ark mid, like a giant wave knocks him off. And then suddenly there's only 5 people and there's a baby being born. And then Noah's got to kill the baby because God doesn't want the baby. And, there only has to be 6 people. But now that the baby's born, there's 6 people on the ark. And suddenly he has a change of heart. And
so stupid.
Wait, I want to see a movie where Noah has like a price on his head.
Called Real Life.
yes,
As someone named Noah, they're coming for me. Just so you know, I don't know who they are,
you better build a boat.
but they know who they are.
Better build a boat.
And
That would be an
already
amazing action movie, The Hitman Out to Get Noah.
I would just get got. Like, I would just get killed.
It'd be the shortest action movie
Yeah, it'd be
ever.
like, he'd just walk up. Like, I'd be walking with my friends. He'd just walk up and, like, shoot me with a 22 that's silenced, and I'd be done. Okay. This has been a wonderful episode.
It has been a chaotic
But
episode.
we got to end it eventually.
We do have to end it eventually.
So-
I mean, we don't have to. We can do a marathon. See how long we can make this last.
I'm hungry.
I mean, speak of incompetence.
I'm incompetent.
Who builds a giant super weapon that can be taken out with one laser torpedo? I mean, come on.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's
And here we
super-
go again.
So
So
talk about incompetent. That's another reason why Warhammer would beat Star Wars, because they design things so poorly.
oh my gosh.
Never happened with Imperium Engineering. Never.
Dave is going to have a great time trying to edit this episode.
No, he's gonna fire us.
I honestly think this is going to be one about halfway through the editing. He's going to be like, you know what?
We're not doing
Screw
this.
it.
He's
And
like,
it's
we're not
just-
doing this one.
No, he's just going to release it. He's just going to release it just all
Do it.
like unedited.
I've been saying we should do that for months.
We can't do that.
Yeah, we can.
No,
We can. What are we gonna get sued? Sue me. I don't care. I'm invincible.
You'll be hearing from my lawyer.
My hitman. I already got hitmen coming for me.
I would say I can be sued because I'm broke. I mean,
But-
I have no money whatsoever. So
Yeah, sue us, and then we'll counter sue and take your crap.
we'll take your money to pay you. Oh, there's a video. I got to say this, then we'll stop because now it just got me thinking about it. There is a video where a guy walks up and he walks up to another guy and pulls out a knife. He's like, "Give me all your money." And the guy's like, "I don't have anything." He goes, "I don't care. Give me what you got." He goes, "Okay, hold on." And he turns around, puts a mask on, and this other guy walks up to him and he does the same thing. Like, he goes like, "Give me all your money." And so then he's like, the other guy's like, "Oh, I ain't got none. Hold on." And so he turns around, puts a mask on. The fourth guy walks up and he's like, "Give me all your money." And dude like pulls out like, a couple of hundreds or whatever. It's like, "This is all I got." He goes, "Great, thanks." Turns to the other guy and he's like, "This is all I got." And then he turns to the other guy and basically it works all the way down to the original theft or thief. And the guy's like, "Here, it's all I can get for you." And the guy's like, "Sweet, thanks." And then takes off running.
That's awesome.
It's like, those are the types of things that I enjoy.
Yeah. That's wholesome.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, it's not like that wholesome, but it's like more wholesome than a lot of the things that are out there.
Oh, by far. So, all right, guys. Yeah, we do have to end this one. This was a very chaotic but a great episode, I think. Thank you guys for listening. If you haven't already, check us out. Social media right now is just TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. I say Facebook. You can check out my Facebook if you really know me. If you don't, well, you'll find us. But Instagram, TikTok, and then check out our website. You can listen to us on multiple platforms. What is it now?
Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts,
YouTube,
Amazon Music, YouTube.
Oh, I forgot about Amazon.
And there was TuneIn.
And TuneIn. So yeah, go check us out. You can hit our website. Our website is
carryoutpodcast.com.
You can check there, and it will give you a link to every episode that we have so far. And then it will also allow you to click the link to go to your respective listening device, whether it's YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, any of that type of stuff like that. So give us a listen. Let us know what you think. Hit us up, like us, subscribe, whatever you want to do. So we really appreciate all the support and all the help. This has been great. My name is John.
I'm Dave.
And I'm Noah.
Have a great night.